Hi, my name is Sonny Richardson, and I'm talking to you today to inform you about some of the negative impacts that can take place when you have too much financial debt. Those can have a financial impact as well as a career, especially military career impact. Debt in the U.S. has become a very common phenomenon. Basically, it's a buy now, pay later type of attitude that people have. And when that debt accumulates over time, it can get out of hand, and you can definitely fall under the curve of being able to make your minimum payments on those loans and other things. CNN Money says that the average household debt level for credit cards alone is $10,700, and that's just credit cards, not including home loan payments, school loans, and other such debt areas. Some of these things are nice to have, things that you see in stores, things that you want now but can't afford, and credit cards allow you to have those things. But you really have to consider some of the negative consequences that can come when these payments and these loans and things like that start to accumulate, and you can no longer stay ahead of them. So let's talk about some of the most common areas that ways that people accumulate debt. Credit cards is the most common. Most people have them in their household, and it's very easy just to swipe those things and then buy what you want now, not thinking about how much you're actually going to pay for that in the long run. Car loans. You have to have a vehicle. Most people can't afford to buy a car outright, therefore we take out a loan usually from the bank, and then we have to pay that money back. The same goes for mortgages on a home. If you want to buy a house, most times you're going to have to take out a home loan through a bank. Going to college is very expensive, so those school loans start to add up as well over the years, and just adds to the other things you've already have to make payments on. And then there's personal debt. Sometimes people take personal loans out from a bank to use the money for whatever needs they have at the time. Maybe it's an emergency that comes up, such as a funeral or a plane ticket you have to buy or something like that. Now, what's going to happen if we can't make these payments? If we have loans out as well as our normal financial responsibilities, and we can no longer make these payments? There's a number of things that can happen. One is your credit rating can go down. That can have a lot of different negative impacts on you. It's going to limit your ability to take out loans in the future if you really need something like a car. Also, it can increase your APR, which is going to cause a larger payment due each month on these different loans, such as credit cards, and you're kind of going to get a snowball effect there when you already can't afford them. Other things that can happen are if you don't make your payments for a certain amount of time, the company can take you to collections, or you can get a judgment where a judge will actually rule against you and say you must make these payments to a certain company, and you become legally liable for those costs, for those judgments. If you're in the military, you can have your wages garnished. The military takes it very seriously that you meet your financial responsibilities, because you're a representation of the military. Security clearances. If you need a clearance, they consider a large financial debt, as well as especially not making payments, to be a security risk, because you may be more likely to do something that is a risk to keep your head above the water. Performance reports or ratings can be negative or be lower, which could limit your ability to make promotion, which therefore a snowball effect happens. You can't already make your payments, and then you can't get a promotion because of your lack of making those payments, and it just kind of snowballs and just gets worse and worse over time. So we know some of the negative things that can happen, but what can we do to avoid or get out of a situation like this? One thing is to wait to buy something that you want until you can actually afford it. Save the money, save your bonuses, save your pay increases or raises, and then buy something outright with cash. Also, you can use those bonuses and things to have an emergency fund, so you don't have to take out a loan when you have to go to a funeral or fix a vehicle. You can build that emergency fund. Dave Ramsey, in his book, says that being able to delay pleasure for a greater result is a sign of maturity. Basically waiting until you can afford something before you whip out that credit card. Pay more than a minimum payment is a technique you can use to get out of debt. Of course, you have to have that little bit of extra money, but you can quickly get out of under a credit card or a home loan if you make more than the minimum payment. It'll take you forever to pay that thing off if you just make the minimum payment every month. Alright, so what have we, in conclusion, we talked about basically the trend of taking on debt in the United States, and we talked about how there's a lot of different ways you can accumulate debt, whether it be credit cards or car loans or mortgages. And then we talked about some of the negative impacts on our careers in the military, and as well as just normal people with financial obligations, the things that can happen if they don't make those payments. So you can see it's a very negative thing. You really want to think about and consider your options before you just whip out a credit card or buy a very expensive vehicle, a car that you really don't need. You might want to think about necessity against wants. Thank you.